Yeah, I just wanted to get one more out of my system, and then I'm gonna. Like I said, there's so much material that just popped up here past couple of days. It's like, holy crap! You remember the Vice video with Pearly Things at Sydney? Well, that's up. They turned the comments off. No way! Why would Vice ever do such a thing? Oh, it's all those evil misogynist Nazis who are leaving comments. Yeah, I'm quite certain they were. There's one very similar between, I think, men's anti-feminists. There's another Vice one. We're not going to do that. It's not terrible. It's a lot easier to deal with than the feminists. At least there aren't those screeching, whinging harpies. But Jubilee has to get on the action. The action. D-Man Fitty. Yeah. 3 times. You're once, twice, 3 times a hamster. Yeah. I thought I would do this here. It's 55 minutes long. We're not going to do 55 minutes. They do have it broken up into several sections that we can easily grab onto and have a listen to. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's generally the same. Hello, Kush. It's generally the same thing. You know, you got brainwashed people over here, and you got Nazis over here. So, brainwashed Nazis. Yes, got evil misogyny over here, and we got the Nazis over here. Or no, I'm sorry. The Nazis are here. These are the good people. I keep forgetting. Okay. So they go through a series of questions. There's no wrong reason to get an abortion is one of them. Shall we dive in? What the?
No wrong reason to get an abortion.
So the way this works, people walk up. Do you have an opinion? They walk up and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
So I'll just center the conversation around the very fact that, you know, we're a group of 8 men. The optics of 8 men in a room talking about when women do and don't deserve to get an abortion it's a bad look. So like,
right. Really? So you're not supposed to have an opinion. Is that right? Well, sorry. This is America. And if Americans do nothing better, we do one thing better than anyone in the world. We like to bitch. We're very good at it. So this guy comes right out the chute, right out the gate. Starting gun went off. Boom. And, well, men shouldn't even have a goddamn say in it. Really? Well, legally we don't, but we certainly can have opinions now, can't we? Go ahead, Mr. Orange Shirt.
For me, from a personal standpoint, you know, I have a girlfriend. There might be some reasons on a personal level where her and I having that conversation together, I might say, oh, I think we should do this. I think we should do that.
It doesn't matter what you think, though. That's part of the discussion that rarely gets brought up. Now, I wonder if the misogynist Nazi, the SS over here, they're going to have a different opinion. Maybe they'll bring that up. I don't know. This is cold. I haven't watched the whole thing. But here's the bottom line, Orange Boy. Good you think men shouldn't have an opinion because you don't have a say. If your girlfriend gets pregnant, you got nothing to say about it. Bro, how do you like it when the government forces you to become a father if you don't want to? How do you feel about that? Isn't that one of the things you say about women? Well, the government shouldn't force women to become a mother. What do you think about the same thing? Perfectly fine with that. What if you break up, she gets knocked up, breaks up, and then she wants to have a baby, and you get stuck paying for it for 18 years? You got no say. You're not with the woman anymore. Didn't want to be a father. Tough noogies. tough noogies. But go on.
On a legislative level, I don't feel confident enough to legislate when someone is and isn't allowed to get health care.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have that power. See, what pisses the pro-aborts off, and again, I've stated my opinion on this, eventually it'll get around to some number, 8 to 10, 12 weeks, probably in most states. The people in the states will vote on these laws. What's wrong with that? You don't want to have a vote? You don't want your voice to be heard? Because you're a man? Is that right? Well, I thought you too, Mr. Orange, was all about democracy. Well, the Supreme Court gave democracy back to the people. Why are you unhappy about this? Oh, could be because most people in wherever you happen to live are not in favor of unlimited, unfettered abortion for any reason whatsoever. Time limit, right? You don't like that either. Okay. So we're going to talk about men's rights at all? No.
Yeah, right. Because that's what abortion is. It's healthcare.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is not healthcare. It is a get out of jail free card for irresponsible women and men who don't use birth control properly. They engage in an activity that the entire point is to produce another human. Of course, there's some pleasure in there, but the point is the sperm may get together, they make another baby. Keeps the species going. You're smart enough to know how to use birth control. So is she. It is a get out of jail free card because I don't want to be bothered at the moment. 98% of abortion is for convenience. There is no denying that. It's a mistake. And you want out of the mistake. Except if you're a man, you get no say, but she does. All right?
One of the paramount ideologies of, I guess, being a quote unquote male feminist is just the ability to mind your own business.
Okay.
Just to be able to say that this is the wrong reason to have an abortion, you're already headed down the wrong path. Yeah.
Really, you can't have an opinion now because you're a man. You can't have the opinion. What if the situation were you wanted to have the child and she didn't? Do you have any say in that? No. So you're already there. You really don't have anything to say about it to begin with, sir. In case you didn't know how the thing works, you got no say. So you should be happy.
Yeah.
So being an anti-feminist, I look at this and I say, well, I am more religious as well.
As am I.
So I want to say like I'm more like pro-life, right? But if a woman decides that they want to not give birth, it doesn't matter the reason. You know, maybe she's not wealthy enough. Maybe, you know, the father left her. You know, there's so
Okay. Hold on. Hold it. Hold on a second. Now we hear this all the time. Well, these poor women, how are they going to afford a baby? Were they poor when they engaged in sexual activity? Or did the poor set in afterwards? Likely they knew they were poor to begin with. So, if one is poor and one knows they cannot afford such a thing, maybe they should be extra special careful as to not have to deal with this situation. I know, that's oppressing women. Shut up, you Nazi.
many reasons. And then I also look at like just gun violence and how we're like birthing kids and we raise them and send it to school knowing that it can get killed. I don't know. I would feel like
It's like not a safe. It's not the best world to be raising a child in.
Exactly.
What the hell are you saying? What the hell is it? Oh my God. Oh, I guess we got another good representative of the Jesus.
Exactly.
I think
What the hell did he just say? I mean, I'm trying to pay attention to him, but he's one of those fast talkers. Herschel Knightsbane, just 3. Just 3. Like I said, there's a lot of material that just showed up, and I'm kind of being lazy today. So, well, you're lazy every day, hamster. Yeah, I know. But I'm just drinking water, and I thought I would do one more quick before I get some brewskis. But I mean, I'm sorry if you don't like it, Herschel. I'll shut it off now. I was just kidding. Go on.
a patriarchal element, even in your answer. Not
Patriarchy. Right. The patriarchy, whom the evil men, the patriarchy, from 1973 through 2022, allowed unfettered abortion in the United States. Never voted upon by the people. It was a Supreme Court mandate. Is that the patriarchy you're talking about? The all-powerful, only for men patriarchy, who somehow, I guess this one slipped by the goalie.
to combat or what have you. The idea of trying to cycle through the reasons why and going, yeah, I guess those make sense, is still, in my opinion, patriarchal.
Even
Well, of course it is. Everything has to be the patriarchy. You're a feminist, for God's sake.
though I was on the feminist side on that topic, it feels like I was put in a position where I was framed as wrong. It felt like you aren't allowed to have this opinion on this topic because you're not a woman.
You can
And
have.
I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest.
It is bullshit. You're right.
Off the top of my head, I know that was mentioned earlier that abortion is healthcare, and I first want to push back on that. Abortion is not healthcare.
Nope.
Healthcare preserves life and protects it.
Healthcare, you could refer to preventing pregnancy would be female healthcare, female reproductive care. So why don't we do more of that? And again, I got to put the caveat out there. Vast majority of men and women are practicing safe sex. Okay. Billions of experiments and only about 1 million people get an abortion every year. I'm sorry, 1 million birthing people. Jesus.
It doesn't take it away. It doesn't eliminate
What
it.
about the woman's life?
But when you exterminate a child, that
Okay. Now we're getting to the corner cases. What about a woman's life? Why not the 98% of abortions that happen that are not threatening the mother's life? That sounded like a what about, isn't it?
that is doing
Oh,
harm.
but it's
That
not
is
always a
healthcare.
child, right? So
That is-
it's a discussion when it becomes a child or not. That's not a gray area. That's not
And
a
it
line.
is actually scientifically proven. It is a separate
So we're
strain
talking
of
about science
DNA
or law?
at conception. If you ask any doctor,
But if you took that clump of cells out, would it survive?
it's not a
Well,
clump
we
of
are all
cells.
a
That's why you
clump of
call it a
cells.
termination. Science.
Well, if you took that, no, it wouldn't. What's your point? Oh, well, then it's not really a human. Really? Okay. I mean, I've even heard the argument, well, if it can't take care of itself, it's not really a human being. Really? What about infants? They can't really do much for themselves for what, a year and a half? So are they not human as well? Just curious.
Scientifically, it is a life at birth, and
Yeah,
scientifically,
birth.
it is. I'm
Did
sorry,
you
at
just hear?
conception. At conception,
sorry.
It is a
scientific.
life, but it is not a human. So look,
It's a life, but it's not a human. Really, what is it? A dog? Is it a frog? What exactly is it then, if it's not human?
Look, though, the thing is, though, when you say it's about protecting life,
Mhm.
abortions are protecting lives of thousands of women who maybe are not able to
at the
have.
expense of another.
Well, at least he's got the numbers right. Yes. It is literally in the thousands of women who get abortion because of health. They're going to die. Yeah. And I think abortion should be legal in those instances and others. But I'm sure we're going to get to that here shortly.
their life.
But you're already prioritizing that other life over the woman
Right.
who's
No,
carrying
no,
that
a lot
life.
of-
No. That's not even a straw man. That's a shit man. That's nothing. That was not even worth commenting on, sir. No.
And because of
Look at
patriarchy, too.
Because of
That's why
patriarchy.
you're doing it.
Because of
Because we've
patriarchy,
already
y'all.
It's a patriarchy. It's a fucking patriarchy. Of course it is.
Valued
Basically
women.
saying that
So what
this-
if we're
see, these
aborting a
cells are
female
more
baby?
important than the woman.
I think it's absolutely shameful how flippantly our society has begun to treat the topic of abortion. You are literally exterminating an unborn child.
to
That
protect
is
the
wrong.
life
That
of
is
another
wrong.
woman.
Then don't.
Yes, in several percent of cases. Yes, you are. You're right. A corner case, sir. A corner case.
Have sex without protection.
Really, you
Whoa! Oh my God! He must be the head of the Gestapo in this. You what? You're expecting women to? Oh, come on now! What is wrong with you, you misogynist? How could you even say such a thing?
Female
are more
baby.
important than the
I
woman.
think it's absolutely shameful how flippantly our society has begun to treat the topic of abortion. You are literally exterminating an unborn child.
To
That
protect
is
the
wrong.
life
No,
of
that is
another
wrong.
woman.
Then don't have sex without protection.
Really,
Boom! Bingo! Bingo! Bingo. Everyone knows how it works. Everyone knows what happens if the sperm and the egg get together. Most likely, It'll form a clump of cells. Everyone knows that. So do things to prevent the two from joining together. No, but birth control is so expensive. Government hands out birth control for free to poor women. Shut the fuck up. Go to your Planned Parenthood. They give it to you for free, courtesy of the taxpayers. And men, they might even get a condom or two for free. Use the available resources. Now, nobody ever seems to raise the question, except me. How much does an abortion cost? $1,000, probably. How do these poor women who can't afford to go to the Planned Parenthood and get free birth control and free rubbers afford to go get abortions all the time? How in the world does that happen? Have you considered that? Even if she had to pay for it, what is it, $10, $10 a month or something? Call it $100 a year. You can go 10 years for the cost of one abortion. But shut up, Nazi.
You don't have
get
sex without
contraception.
protection. How about you don't have sex without
Well, I
protection?
don't have a
Tell 'em what they
baby.
can do.
I don't have a
Right? Tell 'em
baby.
what they can do.
Stop
Yeah.
absolving women and
Yeah.
men
Yeah.
of responsibility and treating grown ass people like
Mhm.
they are children.
Again, we're
Double bingo, double bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, sir. They don't want to hear that because responsibility and expecting people to account for their own shit is oppression under the patriarchy. Don't you know how this game works?
we're not emphasizing any of those things.
I just
Right.
We're going straight to women
Right.
and making it their problem.
Well, it is. It is their problem and the man's problem. It's both combined. Take care of your own shit. It's up to him to use a condom. It's up to her to use birth control. Bingo. Oh, but it's sometimes, let's not go to the corner cases. Let's not do that. Okay?
well,
Exactly.
it's a man's problem as well, because if a man gets a woman pregnant, that is his child as well. So one of
That's
the
right.
things that's really important, what abortion does, is it
Mhm.
puts all of reproductive rights in the hands of women when it takes
Mhm.
both parties.
It's
But
right.
it takes, she cannot have a child
if
without a
the
man.
rules-
Abortion normalizes women making bad choices. We've kind of given a free pass for people to be a lot more carefree about who they sleep with and not really think twice about the ramifications that may come of it.
My goodness, these oh my God, these Nazis. How much do they hate women? They are just awful. Awful, awful, awful. Shaman King, by definition, it can't be anything else. Well, as far as I know, except in a sci-fi movie, if something comes out of that chute and it's alive, it's a human. There's no other option. It's not a freaking dog or an alien. Thupper says, but if they can't carve kids out of their, what they keep, well, you're not wrong. That was the start of Planned Parenthood. We all know the story by now, right? So let me see if I can find this silly video. I don't want to cancel it. Oh, it's got to be here. Hold on. I just want to jump ahead to a different. Just bear with me one second. Jubilee, feminism. Just one second, please. I thought I had it up, but I don't. Sorry. I don't want to go through the whole thing because there's woo everywhere. I don't think we don't need extra woo, do we? Let's see. We can talk about the gender pay gap. Oh my God. Oh God in heaven. Oh man. See, this stuff is mythology at this point. It's never going to go away. And it's sickening. You know, we sometimes, at least I talk, these people aren't living in reality. They're not. How can you look at the numbers and look at the data and not understand?
We're at a new
Oh, there's a commercial. It's a Jeep commercial.
year by Shop, our latest month
Goody.
during the Start Something New sales
Go
event.
buy a Jeep. Yeah,
Girls won't
there
laugh.
you go.
Pay gap is real.
All right. And they actually asked the question in this video, if you watch it, are period cramps or some shit? And everybody in the room said, we got nothing to say about that. What are you talking about? That's pretty good. Go ahead.
I agree that the pay gap is real.
I'm sorry. Do you live in a land of delusion? Which universe do you live in?
But I don't agree with the studies that a lot of people use to say that it's solely based because being a woman.
Okay, let me be pedantic, sir. You were supposedly an anti-feminist. You should at least have your talking points correct. It's not a pay gap. It is a wage gap or not a wage gap, an earnings gap. It's the difference between what men earn and women earn on average over all industries without regard to anything else but that. And the fembots claim it's a pay gap, that women are paid less than men for the same job. Bullshit. Anyway, let's at least use the phrasing correctly. Throw it back in their face. It's not a pay gap. It is an earnings gap. Go on.
Rather than taking into account career preference, time taken off, the actual way you do your job. There's a lot of other variables that go into these studies. And a lot of times I see the feminist movement say, oh, if you're a woman, you're going to make less than a man. And it's just a lot more complex than that.
So I agree that it's a nuanced conversation. So there's like two things that I want to put on. My dad, right? Do you think my dad raised my brother and my sister the same?
I don't know. Did he?
Obviously not. No, I would hope not.
Well, yeah, but like in the sense
You're a
that
man
my
and your sister's
dad
a woman.
pushed me into different things than he pushed my sister towards.
Okay. As in what?
I think women are raised in a way where they're not encouraged to pursue their interests. And now we're starting to get to a generation where I think that might happen, but it's going to take some time.
So your sister couldn't make her own mind up because dad told her she could only be a whatever. Really? What are the strong, powerful Yugo girl? I mean, your sister is probably your age or a little younger. That's 4 generations of fembotism. You can do what you want. You're a girl, blah, 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 blah. So why didn't she make a decision to do what she wanted to with her own life? Because her daddy told her she shouldn't? Really? That's a normal thing. Teenagers never rebel against their parents. Right?
But then the second one is going to be that you get what you negotiate. And this is, I can only give personal experience again. My dad has worked in HR of a company. They offer men at the start than they do women because men are more likely to negotiate anyways. Women are more likely to take the first thing that is offered.
That's the
So,
truth.
Well, okay. Well, if that's the case, then they shouldn't. And you're also not taking into account a lot of different things there, Orange Boy. There's probably a ton of other reasons why a woman or a man might take a position with more or less pay because there are other things. Where the location is, how far she has to drive to work, how much time she wants to have off. Maybe her hours are flexible. You don't fucking know. It's not a one size fits all. And this negotiating your salary, are you fucking kidding me? Who does that? Just the higher ups, perhaps. What's my stock options? Maybe she gets less stock. Well, it's not my fault. We're talking about average people here. You go in, you sign up for government job at level 3. You're going to get the same pay within a small window of a couple $1,000s. Just the way it is. They leave a little bit in there to incentivize. I don't have to explain how it all works. But there are bands of pay and there's overlap between 3 and 4 level and whatever. Just go look at the government pay. The United States government. It'll tell you what a GSX is. And see, there's a band. That's the government. So I don't know what to tell you. Most jobs I've had, it's like, okay, we're going to bring you in at this level. This is what your paycheck is. You take it or you leave it. That's it. Now, whether they offered me more than a woman, what do I have to say about that? I don't know. Maybe they offered her more. I have no idea. But go on.
Yeah.
So, and that is the thing where they take advantage of the fact that they know women feel uncomfortable in a male-dominated space. So you're going to get a job interview. You're getting interviewed by a man. Everyone you saw when you walked in, for the most part, was a man. And then they offer you a salary. You're going to be a little bit less likely to push back.
But that's
And
not
that's
on
my
the,
personal.
What, you mean in female-dominated industries as well? right?
But that's not on the company in that example. That's on the women, unfortunately, right? They have to be their own best advocate. They have to stand up for themselves. They have to negotiate better.
But again, you're talking about a whole range of things that rarely is brought up. But I mean, we've been in the workplace. We know how this is, right? Yeah, I could get 10 grand more a year, but I might have to live here. And I really don't want to move there. I'd rather be here and be closer to my relatives, my family, whatever. So I'm going to take the job that's closer, but it's a little less money. These are the things you got to think about. Or I'd rather live in a small town. I want to live in the middle of North Dakota. Well, the pay is going to be a lot less, but I want to live in North Dakota or whatever, in Kansas. There's so many different variables. And when it sometimes, okay, this is the salary we're going to pay. Here's your vacation. Here's all that stuff. Well, if she is not satisfied with said offer, then don't take it. What am I supposed to do? What is anyone supposed to do? When it comes down to a personal choice, a decision you have to make yourself, I can't help you there. If you take a job less and there's some illegal shit going on there, they're paying men more, call the Equal Employment Opportunity Office. They're right there waiting. They got lawyers on retainer to go after companies who are doing that. You may have noticed that when that stuff comes up, well, at least in the case of Google, they were actually paying women more than men. I wonder why. We don't have that big survey that they do in Britain. Survey everybody and all their salaries, put that out as data. I wonder why they don't want to see that data. Have you thought about it?
Look at this issue.
Pay them more.
When you look at
But
Right,
based
like-
on
but when you look at this issue of the gender wage gap, also too, it's the narrative that surrounds it is absolutely factually untrue. You're
It's bullshit, is what it is. Absolute bullshit.
looking at the average income or salaries of men and the average incomes of women, and obviously there's going to be a difference. Men and women choose to do different things. Like you said, men tend to dominate higher paying industries, higher paying careers. Women tend to go do other things.
I also think that there's a level of preservation that is omitted in these types of conversations. You guys say it's nature, right? I have 2 daughters. If I push my daughters into a male-dominated space, bricklaying or something like that, who are my kids going to have to work around? Are they going to have to endure locker room talk? Those are things that are real things that I'm going to have to entertain.
Oh God help her. She might have to hear some guy telling a dirty joke. Oh my God, what a special little snowflake. Right. But she's not going to do bricklaying. You know that. You're bringing up a fucking corner case. There are very few women in construction. You know that. And besides, Dad, I hate to break the news to you, sir, you're not going to be able to tell her what to fucking do anyway. Just saying.
When I decide where I'm going to push my child. So that's why I'm saying it's not just nature. There are societal,
I agree.
There are societal things in place that put women at a deficit when it comes to making money.
No, I totally disagree. I do not agree with that statement. One iota. There's nothing in the way for women, especially younger women, getting in the way of them making as much damn money as they want to. Stop this oppression narrative. It's bullshit.
If a woman feels intimidated, that's on her. Like, that is on her. She needs to fight it. And I don't believe the wage gap exists because you're given the same opportunity to earn the money. The fact that you don't fight for your salary or don't fight for the wage because you feel uncomfortable, it's on you. At the end of the day, it's on you. If you go in and you're applying for a job and you feel intimidated and then they say, oh, we're going to pay you minimum wage, and you agree to it when you know you should be earning like $20 or $30 or whatever, it's on you. You can't.
Yeah, you made the decision. I mean, most companies are going to try to get away with paying everybody as little as they can. That's part of running a business.
You can't cry about it and say, oh, this is because men dominate.
Wait,
Well, so
I'm sorry, can I
go ahead,
interject?
go ahead.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's on the woman that she feels intimidated, right?
Yeah. Well, if that's the way she feels, she could probably take some courses to correct that, get some training. I don't know.
That's kind of the
Yes.
paramount. So then is that the same when it comes to like once you're actually hired and once you are the energy or the environment that you work in as well?
Yeah.
So
100%.
so the company has no responsibility to make a safe work environment or anything?
No, get the fuck out of here. Stop it. Have you ever been to one of these companies? I don't know where you work, sir, but Usually you get interviewed by a manager and then you talk to the HR people. That's what happens. And whatever they offer you, you take it or you leave it. That's it. If it's not what you think you deserve, then go somewhere else. I'm sorry. But equating that with, oh, well, the work environment's also going to be shitty because, you know, she's intimidated by the freaking hiring process. Good God. Stop.
Something like that.
I never said that.
I'm asking you a question.
He
I
did
said
just
feeling
ask that.
intimidated is not the same as being intimidated.
That's
or
true.
Being constantly pushed to be like intimidate. You know what I mean? Like if I were to you and go, yo, I'm gonna hit you, or yo,
No,
you know what
I
mean?
wouldn't
Or,
say
like,
that. The idea that women are tasked with their own social context and creating the environments for themselves that they want to operate within, even though they are continually stripped of power, is infuriating and is disrespectful.
This guy's too far gone, guys. There's nothing here. This is a totally indoctrinated, brain dead moron. This guy is lost. He is gone forever.
It echoed the sentiment of Black people keeping themselves down because of the acknowledgement of racism.
Okay. Is there any grain of truth in what you just said? Is there anything there that might be
I think we'd all agree teachers, nurses, medical professionals, objectively important jobs for the fabric of
in the
society.
United States.
So it's just a
And we clearly undervalue these industries that are women dominant. Do you think that that's just a coincidence?
No,
I'm sure doctors and nurses and health professionals are not undervalued. Where are you getting your data? Are you talking about teachers who are also not undervalued? That's another myth. They get paid a lot more than they announce to the public. Gold-plated retirement plans, gold-plated healthcare plans, 3 months off in the summer. They're not nearly as underpaid as they want you to believe, but go ahead.
where I would agree with you is I do think that teachers and nurses should make more money.
Are nurses not making enough money? I don't know. I know teachers, that's a mythology that needs also to be debunked.
But that doesn't factor into the point that there is a pay gap, because if a man goes to be a teacher, he's still going to get paid the same amount as a woman.
Bingo. Thank you. That's where the wage bullshit comes from. You're comparing a teacher to a CEO. That's not the way it works.
Let's
doesn't
take a
really
job.
matter.
Let's take a job where men and women both participate. Like World Cup's going on right now. Look at the U.S.
Jesus
American
Oh my
men's team and
gosh.
the
The
women's
men's
team.
team is also significantly more skilled than the women's team and brings
Men's team brings in billions of dollars in revenue. And they just recently cut some freaking deal where the women get the bunch of the prize money too. It's ridiculous. Stop. How many professional soccer players do we have in the world, in the United States? What, 100? Cut me a fucking break. Jesus.
in a bigger
And more
audience.
people watch
Skilled
it.
how?
More people
They
watch
play-
it. Do you
God.
think people that play in the
But they don't-
WNBA should be making the same thing as NBA
they-
players?
Exactly. NBA or NBA players should be making
That's
more
not
than
my question. That's not my
teachers.
question. In 2022, women are not victims, but yet we live in a society that glorifies being a victim, glorifies being oppressed, glorifies people feeling bad for you. When honestly, all it does is, again, it provides another disservice to the people that are these so-called victims.
I haven't always understood consent in intimate relationships.
No, not going to do it. It's just stupid shit. It's just woo everywhere. All right, we'll do one more. Do women have it easier than men? We'll do that one. And then we'll wrap it up, and I'm going to go drink some beer. Why not? If Polska Bob can do it until 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, why can't I? I wonder if he did have his mushroom pizza. You never know. I really need to go to the grocery store, you know?
Bird, if you agree.
All right, hold on. I
With
really
the
need to get some
prompt.
groceries. Oh, stop.
Women
Shush.
do.
Shush. I'm talking. People want to hear me talk. Damn it. Shaman King, XYZ. Market determines value. The market is driven by people's choices as much as anything. Exactly. because I feel like that I don't give a shit what you feel. If you're not happy with the offer, don't take it. Just that simple. Again, if there's some discriminatory practices between men and women, we have legal methods to work that out. But if everything's above board and they pitch you an offer and it's less than what they offered a man, we'll say, no, that's unacceptable. I have to have thus, and such. Negotiate. Or take it. It's up to you. And again, there's a bunch of other stuff nobody ever talks about. Where is it located? How much traffic? Do you have on-site daycare? Do you have on-site gym? The city, I want to live in a bigger, different place because the arts isn't so good in that city. There's a million different considerations. Money is, of course, important, but there's lifestyle, right? I want to live in Denver. Why do you want to live in Denver? I want to hike the mountains. It's my thing. Okay, well, here's the paycheck. It might be less than, say, I don't know, San Francisco, but I don't want to live in San Francisco. So I'll take the less salary, but I want to live where I want to live. It's a person's choice, and they still bitch. And they still complain. You have all of this freedom, all this opportunity, all of this choice, and you're still complaining. Anyway, go on. Do women really have it harder? Do women have it easier, I guess is the question.
With feminism, it's kind of brainwashed women to think that they are victims in 99% of cases, and all the disenfranchisement that they would claim in like colleges and careers. A lot of these careers are way easier to get into for women than they are for men because they're looking to hire women because of feminism.
Especially the STEM fields. Yes, that's correct.
Like in divorce and stuff, they get more property, the kids' rights, all that.
Yep.
But more so, I think that from the jump, actually have it easier. Like men need to be a provider. They're taught to be tough. Oh, why are you crying? Don't be a girl. But when a girl is crying or a girl is upset or anything that happens, usually they're a princess and they're given the world.
Well, yeah, because with women, they're born with their value. They innately have value. They can create life, and they're extremely valuable from birth. For men,
well, they can't create life without men. At least not yet. That's okay.
It's not really the same way. You have to make something of yourself to be respected.
Exactly. Like a pretty woman can go far just using her face. A man can't do that. A man can't go to a rich businessman or like a businesswoman and be like, I'm good looking. Let me come to your yacht.
Right.
A woman can't.
Right.
Let's bring the disagreeers forward.
Oh, okay.
I have a quick question. Just a second ago, you were saying that a pretty woman could go on to a rich man's yacht and that would be kind of her ticket on.
Well, it could be, yeah. He's certainly not going to bring out ugly chicks and just average dudes on his yacht, right? I mean, come on.
Right. Okay. So did that help women vote at all?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Women have had the right to vote in the United States for over 100 years, Quentin. Is that what you got to do? Go back in history all the time?
Pretty.
But what does that have to do with it?
I'm just asking because, I mean, when we're talking about women's lives being better than they think they are, would you rather be pretty and be able to get on a yacht or have your liberties?
What are we living in, like 1950s or 2022?
Yeah. We're living in 2023. Quentin, you're talking out your ass, buddy. Well, would you rather be pretty or would you rather have the right to vote? You don't have to choose. You can do both. What century is this guy living in? I have no
right to vote
for a long.
This is, unfortunately, this guy has been indoctrinated to the point where he's brain dead. He doesn't even know where we're living or what century we're in. And I'm not trying to be harsh on the man, but this is the kind of shit you guys have all heard from feminists all the time. Well, that one time in the past, women, we don't live in the past anymore, guys. We live in 2023 where women have every single right that men do and more, and they have for decades. They've had the right to vote for over 100 years. It's a false choice. You don't have to be pretty and give your right up to vote. Your right to vote up. That's stupid.
I think something you specifically said shows to me why women don't have it easier.
Okay.
I think it was you who said, women already have their value. Their value is already obvious because they can have children. I don't want to put you into a box, but there are large amounts of men. Women are people that have children and then they raise the child and they be quiet.
And I think
that is a
Not at
problem.
all.
Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that, Mr. Orange. Nobody is saying that.
I think what was really evident to me when both of y'all came up and talked was how indoctrinated into the patriarchy you are. Right?
Oh my God. That is grade A #1 prime choice projection, yo.
And you both come up and say, as men, we have to prove something.
We do. There's little dispute. You have to earn your reputation. Women are born with it, sort of. One of the metaphors, I guess, is women are born with all the gold they'll ever need, and men have to earn the gold. And there's a crossover point where women piss their gold away and men are just getting their gold about age 30. Go on.
And those expectations that you put on yourself is a direct result of patriarchy and the systems that feminism is trying to dismantle.
Well, he's right. Feminism is trying to dismantle capitalism. Yeah. Yeah. He's not wrong there.
I mean, as are the values that women have that when they were born that you're talking about. Women did not create those.
Right.
Those are God ordained. Men and women are both equal under God and in value as human beings.
And we have equal rights under the law. Women have more. We're already there, guys. We got this figured out.
In Genesis, you have a creation of both men and women that are made in God's
We're
image.
not
So
about
we
to
are
quote the
both.
Bible on like some feminist.
Hold on, but
topic.
so,
I mean, we
If
can.
we're operating in a country where there's a separation of church and state, you cannot use religion as
And
a
the Bible
motivation
also
to make
doesn't tell
legislation.
Point that passage out in the Constitution about the separation of church and state. Mr. Smarty Pants. Tell me which amendment that resides in. Oh, it's not in there, is it? Ah, I see. I got you.
If I hear one more person use religion as a reason to not give rights to people.
Wait a minute. Using religion to not give rights to which rights are we discussing? Which rights do women not have, Mr. Orange? Just curious.
Probably gonna fucking explode. People using their own personal ideologies as an excuse to implement legislation over other people's lives.
He's talking about abortion again, isn't he? Yeah.
Are simply just not okay with the fact that they can't control everything around them.
Back to the prompt. I mean, I don't think that women have it easier than they think they do. And I think to just make blanket statements like women in society think they have it easy or men in society have it harder or whatever you want to say, I just think it's kind of naive. Sure, maybe some women think they have it easier, but that might not be because they're a woman. It might just be because of their own set of life challenges and vice versa.
Yeah, and I agree. And one of the reasons that I am so passionately anti-feminist is because I believe that feminism pits men against women. Men and women may be equal today, but they are not the same. But also,
we're not the same. No. We are fundamentally equal under the law. We're human beings, etc., but we're different. We have different interests with different everything. That doesn't mean everyone shouldn't be treated the same way fairly under the law. No one is saying that.
Also, too, women are under a pressing assault today in this country. They're losing their ability to compete in sports, beauty pageants, also just basic things like that to people that identify as women.
And try being a stay-at-home mother. See how far that gets you with the feminists. Oh no.
No one is talking about it. Feminists aren't talking about it. So now you have conservatives having to fight for women's equality.
You're making some pretty blanket statements saying feminists don't care about it. And you say,
they don't. You know what they call feminists who care about that? TERFs. Trans exclusionary radical feminists. They have their own name. They have their own group. Yo. That's why they're in a different... God. Oh, Jesus.
You think that all women just are against men?
To answer your question, yeah.
No. See, you're equating feminism with women. The two are not the same thing, Gingerbeard. But this is a common thing. Well, you hate women. No, I don't like feminism. Well, that means you hate women. No, because they are not the same.
Talking about women. Women are not all feminists.
Yeah.
Bingo, 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 bingo. Yes, sir.
There are plenty of feminists who are very anti-woman. You know, you saw it during in the political era where you have people who will attack Kayleigh McEnany and Kellyanne Conway because they aren't pro women. They're not for the girls.
So
let's not forget Sarah Palin.
Actually, we
Let's not forget Tulsi Gabbard.
have like just a little bit left. I haven't heard Kevin yet.
Yeah. When you talked about the pressures of being a man and having to provide and having to prove your value as a man, I think those are real challenges that men face. That's why like women have it harder too, because they are also being impacted by how aggressive men feel like they need to be able to secure the role that they have to play in society.
Yeah, yes. The workplace is competitive. Yes, indeed.
But the reality of today is that because of the systems that we're in, the patriarchy is negatively impacting not only women, but also men.
Sure, because it's capitalism and you don't like capitalism. Oh, God. Isn't it fun? Isn't it? Nervous laugh. Yeah, exactly. Lil Mo is in the building. Sir Killa Hayes. Yo, incorrect. They are a roll-off. Yeah, indeed. Yes, that's correct. In Florida. Oh, yeah. My opinion, Sir Killa, is all modern women pretty much are feminine. They're certainly for women's rights. The way I view it, when they say they're a feminist, I think radical. You know, the real man haters. You know, most women, however, don't complain too much about all the stuff that feminists got for them over the years. And rarely do you hear even a normal non-feminist woman say anything about the college gap or any of that stuff. Because it's not a problem. It only gets to be a problem when their children, who happen to be boys, want to go to college. And notice that the environment isn't very friendly for them, you know. Shaman King, if you want people to make different choices, then you have to learn why people make those choices. They don't make choices in a vacuum. I think exactly what I was just saying. There's a lot more to it than just the number on the page. There's family, there's location, there's this, there's that, there's benefits, there's all kinds of shit. Flexible work, work from home if you have to. If the kids are sick, you can stay home and work. Men and women look for these things. It's a different world from where you go in, you punch the clock. You know, these younger people, they want different things. Especially this latest crop. Is it millennials or Gen Z or whatever? You know, they want the foosball table and the lattes at lunch and all this. Okay. And so maybe they get a salary offer from one company that doesn't have all that shit, and they get a lower salary offer from one that does. They might take the other one because of all the non-monetary benefits of that other company. You know, I guess you could say intangible, as in it doesn't show up in your paycheck, but you certainly have things that are, you know, the foosball table, all that kind of crap. The Ant-Man. The separation of church and state. Yeah, I know. It's just, again, some of these guys, especially whatever his name was, just brain dead. There's nothing left. He's so thoroughly indoctrinated that there's no saving him. He's just going to go on and spew his garbage, and nobody's going to change his mind about nothing. Prime says the patriarchy you're thinking of was killed before God. It's Fugazi at this point. Fugazi! Do you know what a Fugazi is? Yes, I do. It's a fake. It's nonsense. Again, I'll repeat myself one more time. It was the patriarchy that gave women all of these rights and all these privileges and shit over the years, and they're still complaining. We got to destroy the patriarchy. You mean the patriarchy that gave you all of these things you enjoy? That one. Of course, they don't mean the patriarchy. They mean capitalism. That's what they're really talking about. Bots everywhere, huh? We got bots? Do we? Oh, my God. Oh, you mean the guy on the TV? Yeah. He's pretty much, fully indoctrinated. John G., these women deserve rights as a mother producing children without being on multimedia. Well, I don't know. Whatever. I guess, do what they want. I don't really care. But yeah, this notion that women are oppressed because they don't get the salary that they agree to. I mean, what the fuck? What kind of nonsense is that? I don't understand. Well, they did actually. You remember the one from a couple years ago? It was feminists and supposedly men's rights, and they had the one guy. Can't think of his name, but he was in there, and he had facts, data. Boom, he was right there, and of course the feminists had no way to come back to him because he had all of his ducks in a row. That was a few. I think it was also Jubilee. I think it was men's rights against feminists. So it's pretty good. I have a video on it somewhere if you want to look it up on my channel, or just look for Jubilee, men's rights versus feminists. It's all over the internet. Everybody did one of those. That was about 5 years ago, I think. So anyway, it's Kursat. This is the guy's name, Kursat. He was the men's rights activist. He's filed lawsuits against schools because there's special areas for women only, but no special areas for men. There's special clubs and crap for women only, but not for men. You know, we were talking about engineering. There's a society for women engineers. No such thing for men. The girls got to get together and have their little coffee clutches. Expecting these days. Okay, well, hold on. The debate of MGTOW expecting Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes. They never were buddies or anything, right? Yeah, thank you. Is Christoph or Kurgat? Well, whatever. Yeah, he was an actual MRA. Yeah. Actually, while we're here, it's only 2:30. We have time. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Hold on. Let's see. Jubilee. Men's rights versus feminism. Wouldn't it be funny if my video came up? This is 3 years ago. I'll go through it so we don't have to look at the whole thing. But you haven't seen this one. It's pretty good. Okay. Hello. We don't have chapters on this, but or do we? Oh, we do have chapters. Oh, cool. Let's see if we can find the chapter. Open dialogue at the end, really? Oh, this was only 24 minutes? I didn't know that. All right. We can do a couple of chapters, right? What the hell? It's fun. We're on a Jubilee jag. All right. Yeah, this was 3 years ago, and we're going to skip the intros, but let's see if we can get the women and the fembots and the MRAs in there. Of course, this was the one where this is on Incel, and I think he was a plant because his arguments were pretty pathetic in reality. All right, let's see what we got here. Toxic masculinity. Okay, so the guy in the yellow is supposedly a incel, right? That's a good question. Why don't they bring Pop on one of these? Well, he'd be too dangerous, wouldn't he? No, or Hammerhand. Get Hammerhand and Pop. Get them on one of these shows, or Chronic, or Sandman, or some of those guys. Get them on there. Let's see how this goes. It won't be, it wouldn't be quite as friendly as this will be. But I mean, the point is, this stuff is edited beyond belief. The Pearly and Sydney one, I think Sydney said they went on for 5 hours on the Vice one, and they cut it down to 40 minutes. So, there was a lot of stuff that was said, and it wasn't just, errors and for cleanliness or concise a video. They chopped out a bunch of shit. Okay, let's go.
Masculinity is real.
Toxic masculinity is real. A little hard to. There's the incel.
I think that toxic masculinity is definitely a real thing. It's kind of just the idea of what masculinity should be, but it goes wrong a lot of the times, saying that violence, sex, power, being a controlling person makes you a man.
Violence, sex, power, and being a controlling person makes you a man. My God, really? This was pre-Andrew Tate. I mean, where are they coming up with this?
I see it in very unfortunate places, like when the young men or boys in my family, even from like toddler age, are told.
Yeah, Aisha here. She She likes to tell a lot of anecdotes, if you know what I'm saying.
Shouldn't be crying. Boys don't cry. And what that turns into, I see it when I'm in a bookstore and a guy who tries to get my number says, why y'all always got to act like that? And he sincerely had this like cracking voice, like he was hurt.
He probably was. He thought you were attractive, and God forbid people might want to be around you, you know? It's crazy. Now, the boys don't cry thing, I get so invigorated listening to this bullshit. This, again, is another freaking myth that little boys, don't you cry, man. You're not a slap. That's not what it means. What it means is that if a young boy, for example, skins his knee or something like that, and he gets his mom or dad might say, hey, come on now, don't cry. It's just a little cut. We'll get it fixed up. And that has been bastardized into, you tell all little boys they shouldn't cry, and that's what's driving toxic man. Bullshit. If anything, it's showing young boys some situations don't require you to cry. Right? You get a flat tire on your car, you skin your knee. You don't necessarily have to bawl your eyes out. It's not going to do any good. And plus, look, we got a Band-Aid on there. It's fixed. So, but again, everything has been bastardized by the fembots, just like boys will be boys. But let's go on. We're going to hear about that shortly.
But it was an entitlement. And that's toxic masculinity.
I mean, God help us. How hard it is for women to have men attracted to them. Oh my, how do you deal with it, girl?
Like,
I
you don't realize how your behavior is harmful.
What does toxic masculinity mean? Is it character traits? Is it upbringing?
The suppression of feeling for a lot of men.
There we go. The same old bullshit. Same. Never changes.
Because throughout childhood, they're told man up. So because of that, there's a lot of repression. Repression then is usually channeled into anger for some
Jesus Christ.
people because they don't always know how to express because they're told not to express.
So upbringing and
that's part of it.
Okay.
Yes.
But not something that's inherently part of men.
No.
It's a social construct. Of course it is. It has to be.
I think that, when you're showing your emotions, especially to
okay, Incel, what's up?
Random people, random women in some cases, they will view you as weak. I was raised by a single mother. I love her. She's my mom. I love her. But I could have used being told to act like a man. I think back, there were some cases where I was too emotional, and that negatively affected how I, what happened to me. And,
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What is your definition of weak as a man?
Like a girl. Weak like chicks.
Not being as forward as you could be, not being as honest, or trying to be not as emotional as you don't need to be. You don't have to cry over a cut.
Exactly. That was my point. Exactly. Just because you cut your finger don't mean you have to go cry over it. Come on, let's clean it up. Let's get a Band-Aid on. That's not you don't have to cry over that. Man up, you little shit. You're 5 years old. What a bunch of nonsense.
I know, sometimes cuts hurt a lot, but sometimes it's necessary to be strong for the benefit of not just yourself, but for people around you.
Right.
It's fine to act emotional in certain cases, but I don't think it's fine to act that way with a woman. Maybe, you have a really good friend and he sees you cry, he's your best friend and you're crying about something really personal. Yeah. I think that's fine.
I feel like you're conflating two different situations because you started off with saying,
okay, siblings, babe, talk to me.
Random person or even women. So it feels like, okay, this is a woman that you don't have a bond with or any type of relationship with. And then you mentioned, or in front of your best friend, that's okay to cry. Well, that woman could be your best friend.
No. And now Mr. Incel is going to get her all pissed off. Are you ready? Mr. Incel, go for it.
That, so,
I don't think you can defend the woman, so.
Because you don't see us as equal, as you said before.
No, because that's not true. I'm friends with women. And I could cry around them and it wouldn't be a problem. But this guy is talking, it's a different sort of thing he's talking about. He's an incel. He doesn't have any friends. Well, he doesn't have any women friends either.
I don't think showing emotions is a sign of weakness. I actually think it's a sign of strength. Men do live shorter lives, and that's because of a repression of emotions.
I mean, where do you get this bullshit from? I mean, look at this young man here. He's looking at her like, what the fuck are you talking about? Men are quite happy to show their emotions in front of other men. We're quite happy to. It's just in front of especially a romantic female. Right? Cry in front of the movie, old Yeller dies, okay, maybe a tear. That's not a problem. But could you imagine you're in a relationship with a woman, you fall down and you skin your knee and you start crying like a baby? No, men can't get away with that because you would immediately pack your shit and leave. And you know it. Go on.
And that's due to many things that patriarchy has instilled.
Oh, God. That just fucking doesn't end. The evil, all-knowing patriarchy that gave women all the rights they enjoy today. The evil patriarchy must be destroyed. Yeah, Asian chat does go off here in a minute. I can't remember. Oh, what's her face has some stupid story. That probably never happened. But all right, we'll get back to it. You guys have not seen this before, huh? Yeah, this was going around a few years ago. I just about everybody did a video on it. So I'll paste it in the comments here for you guys for now. And I'll put it in the description later after I edit the video. Sir Killa, look at that. Exactly. I cried when all the men died. Exactly. I'm emotional. I mean, when Jack, it was sad because there was plenty of room on the fucking raft and he just fell in that. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you, sir. I hear you, Killa. I got you.
It has been shown that a person's well-being, their lifespan is shortened when they are not able to express their emotions. In addition, when they don't have physical touch or when they don't have a partner to keep them company. We are human beings here.
Physical touch, yeah. That's certainly one thing. But men do express their emotions, just not in front of you.
We need to talk to each other. And if
But you don't want to talk to him because he's an incel and he's a loser. Right?
You think that our health isn't affected when you're not able to express that you are sad or upset, you're wrong.
Yep.
I think that men's rights activists are only men's rights activists as a response to women expressing that they want more equality.
They want more equality. More. Okay. In what areas do you think you need more equality? Or do you really mean some handout? You're already equal under the law, and more so with respect to your abortions. So what exactly are you talking about here? You did mention the patriarchy. I wonder if you want some socialism.
I don't think they focus on actual men's rights issues.
Of course we don't. We just bitch about women. No. You're right. We're a bunch of damn losers.
And rather it's just an attack on women and feminism.
Right. Well, it is an attack on feminism, but it's not an attack on women. Again, the two are not the same. They are different. See? Okay.
Today, women have
more advantages than men. Okay. I don't know why the host does not have a microphone set up, but okay.
I can speak from a hiring standpoint when it comes to things like affirmative action, and there are certain roles that traditionally men and women have been able to serve in, and now women can basically do all of those things, right? Because we've had such a strong advocacy for equal representation in the workplace. Whereas, for example, you'll never find a man as a midwife nurse, and I don't think it's appropriate. That's why there are those differences.
No, there probably are some, but it probably isn't the normal. Yeah.
Women in like the most important parts of society have an advantage. There's a lot of positions that men simply aren't getting hired at anymore because of the fact that they're a man.
Well, there's affirmative action, various other things. Still for women, even though they're kicking men's asses, it seems.
And it's not just in the workforce. It's also, I would say, it's a lot easier for a woman to find a relationship, even if she, says it's finding the right guy is so hard. It really isn't. But sometimes for a lot of guys, finding a girl at all is hard.
I mean, you would have to be almost deformed Like have an arm coming out of your head if you're a chick, not to get dick. I mean, come on now. Are they going to refute that?
I have to consider what I wear before stepping out the house.
You mean like everyone else does? Okay.
Because I don't want to draw some type of attention.
You want to draw attention, but just from the guys you want to get attention from. But come on now. Come on.
I don't know how many other men have to consider, is this outfit going to be deemed safe for me?
You don't have to worry about that either, dear. But go on with your fantasies. That's perfectly fine.
Any situation that I have experienced where like I physically felt endangered.
You felt endangered. Were you? That's the big question. What you feel is one thing. Were you actually in danger? You had the grapefruit artist with a knife coming at you on a street trying to do harm to you. Is that what was happening? Or you looked around and listened to your feminist programming and saying, all men are grapefruit artists. I'm really scared. When 99% of men are not. They don't deal in that kind of bullshit. But you know who does? People who grape people.
Simply because I don't want to give my number out. It's
okay. Well, then don't, or give out a fake number. What do you want us to be? You want a fucking policeman with you? You learn to be an adult. Some guy wants your number. Give him a number. Oh yeah, bye. Give him the wrong number. Who gives a shit? Oh wah! Some guy wants to be with me. Wah!
Part of that entitlement for men.
No, they're just trying to get a girlfriend. Jesus Christ.
You're not entitled a conversation with me. You're not entitled to my number.
Okay. Well, then say no, thank you. What? Well, then he's going to get violent and shit. Well, then write out a number. It's a pain in the ass. Give him the wrong number and go on your merry way. Jesus Christ. These are first world problems. My God.
That aside, it's like, are you going to make one example of the entitlement of men when it comes to asking for your number?
Ooh, look at her. Look at her. He's getting warmed up now. Be like one of those cartoons here in a moment. The steam just comes right out her ears.
The all-encompassing thing that all men have a problem when it comes to approaching women.
Well, firstly, it's not just an example. It's not necessarily all men. I don't dislike men.
You don't dislike men you're attracted to and want to give your number to, right? Situational, isn't it?
I love sports. I play video games. I have bros.
Okay,
I hang out with dudes.
And speak some more irrelevant shit. Who cares?
We just want men to.
Wait a minute. I'm not racist. I have a black friend. I don't hate black people. I hang out with black guys.
Realize that if you have friends that are having locker room talk, as a man, as an ally, please say something to your friends.
You mean men in a locker room talking shit where there's no females present? Well, nowadays you never know. But all men, they're talking smack, they're saying stupid shit, making jokes, whatever. Tell them to shut up. Because some woman who is nowhere in the vicinity of this locker room is might be offended by it. Is that what you're saying?
Do you think repressing that is really the solution here, though? If it's in a healthy male space.
I don't think that's healthy.
Did you catch that little nibble? Let me play it again.
To realize that if you have friends that are having locker room talk, as a man, as an ally, please say something to your friends.
Do you think repressing that is really the solution here, though? If it's in a healthy male space.
I don't think that's healthy.
Nothing healthy about male spaces. Nothing healthy about men getting together and hanging out. No. No.
I think it's toxic in itself.
I mean, if you're making jokes and you're doing all of that.
Jokes that are harmful jokes are not healthy.
Harmful to whom? If you're not there, how is it harming you? Just asking the question. Trust me, if men are getting in there and saying some really weird shit, other guys are gonna say, hey, fuck, what are you fucking doing? It's the way men regulate other men. You're not there. How could it be harmful to you, sweetheart?
Because they just lead to people normalizing things.
I see. So telling jokes leads to people grapefruiting women. Got it.
People always say, oh, it's just a joke. But when someone else hears it, they don't realize how that resonates. And again, how that turns into violence.
But you're not there, so you're not hearing it. So there you go.
Like, this is not an isolated situation. I'm only thinking of 3 off the top of my head, because if I think of too many, I'm gonna spiral
So
right now.
what's the alternative? Men shouldn't talk about these things.
No, I think
No
men
one's
can
ever
have a
said
healthy
that.
dialogue. I don't think men have to be toxic in order to have a conversation. I know
See,
plenty of men that are able to.
Yeah, men have to only have conversations approved by feminists. What we deem to be healthy is the only thing you can talk about in an isolated space with no females. What in God's name, girlfriend?
Have conversations about healthy, productive things, just like women are.
How do we know? How do we know what you're talking about in your isolated female space with no men around? How do we know it's healthy? Or are you saying that everything women would talk about ever strictly healthy? Right. Oh my God.
Well, it's not obviously something that I have personal experience with, but only 1% of all people on the death row
Yeah, it's curse that. Right
are
there.
women in this country. So when women and men commit identical crimes, women are much more likely to, for example, escape the death penalty. And
Yeah.
that's just plain sex-based discrimination.
That I agree on.
That's a bit extreme there, Cursette. I understand your point of view. What you should have said was men and women charged with the same crime and convicted get lesser sentences because they're women. You should have brought that up, and I bet you would have got a different answer. See, you were a little bit too specific. Death penalty, which is pretty much illegal everywhere. Although we just had someone got the chair in Missouri last week, so you should have brought that up. But he'll get to some more stuff. Go ahead.
It's true. Look, I'm thinking about basic needs, like around the globe, the women who don't even have like
We're talking about Western feminism, girlfriend. But go ahead on a tangent. Talk about women somewhere who don't have tampons. That'd be really useful for this discussion.
proper like sanitary like products.
I mean, I have to agree. Just small things like a tax on a box of tampons.
You mean sales tax? Okay, well, let's get rid of sales tax. Oh, you mean just for shit that women buy? Okay.
think I choose to do this monthly? No, trust me. So
It's Mother Nature. So go complain to God. Go complain.
why should I have to pay taxes when this is a medical necessity?
Why should I have to buy jock itch powder and pay tax on it? Why should I? Why should I have to buy supporters for athletics? Why should I have to pay sales tax on that? I could probably think of 100 things, girlfriend. You got no traction with this tampon argument. Sorry.
We're just like dismissed. A lot of our symptoms, a lot of the things we report, especially women of color, but women across the board are just treated a lot less equally.
Treated a lot less equally. I don't know what the hell she was even talking about.
I'd say that I'm an advocate for what I believe the role that men play in society. I believe that their views should be expressed openly, that they should be given a platform to do so. And I believed in men unapologetically and unashamedly being men as we were created.
I think in my heart that there are things that men are entitled to. I am all about human rights, and I do consider the rights of every human, but
No, you said you tried to initially. I try to consider human rights of everybody, except men. We don't care about those stinking men. They're all evil.
every time I hear of a men's rights activist, I hear anger and I hear very illogical reasoning. And
You hear anger and illogical reasoning. I see.
It just boils my blood because it's a setback for all of us.
It's a setback for all of us, for men to speak up about inequalities in our system where we're supposed to be all fair. Isn't that what feminism has told us for decades? No. If I hear those men's rights bitching about something, it just boils my blood. That's right, because you interpret that, excuse me, you interpret that as men wanting something from women. You're thinking of the zero-sum game here, aren't you? So of course you would get pissed because you think something's going to be taken away from you. It's not the way this works. Well, in most cases. If we fix the college thing, it would take that away, but go ahead.
I feel that the other side does not understand my values.
All right, this should be good. Not understand my values.
I think a lot of times when a movement is created, the other side thinks that they're being attacked or think that it's some like attempt at erasure.
Indeed, that's what the feminists are thinking. So you hit it right on the head there, dear. Absolutely.
That's not what feminism is about at all. No, really what you meant is men's rights is attacking feminism. And in some ways they are. But not necessarily. Go on. What do you need a whole men's rights activism movement for?
What do you need a whole female rights activism movement for? Especially since all the rights have been granted to you under the patriarchy over the last several decades. Why do you still need a women's rights movement? Just curious. Of course, in her mind, the hamster's spinning around up there and saying, men have all the privilege, men have all the rights, women are oppressed. So why do you need a movement? You already have everything. Is that about right, Aisha?
I'm sincerely confused.
Well,
we know you are, clearly.
Well, I mean, like, I will advocate for positive masculinity and what men should represent. And
there's no such thing as positive masculinity, Zach. Don't you realize you're talking to radical feminists over here? Chad.
Healthy outlets for men. Like, I still think the Boy Scouts should be exclusively the Boy Scouts, for example, one of those things. Where I would like to think that we could get some common ground is when it comes to the clear biases that are in the court system, especially in the marriage and family court system, right? And right there is what I would advocate for when it comes to men's rights.
The things that stand valid, like that I'm hearing from y'all that are like valid to me, come from a place of like, I am treated like unfairly by the system. Versus a lot of the things women are saying. It's also America and the system as well, but a lot of it is like harm from men.
Harm from men. Yep. 100% of men are out there trying to hurt you. Got it.
How and where?
How and where what?
The steam comes rolling out her ears.
Where's this harm from men coming from?
Okay, it started when I was young. I'm not going to talk too long. I was 16, got a bottle thrown at me because I told a boy no.
So one young man threw a bottle at you. So the entire half of the world is toxic and hateful toward women. One dude. Go on with your anecdotes, dear.
It started when I was in a club. A boy touched me. I said no. He kept touching me. It got to the point he got violent. It gets to the point that the only reason why a man decided to stop touching me in the bookstore I talked about earlier is because he realized my husband was not too far away. And he said,
you didn't say he was touching you in the bookstore. You specifically said he came up to you and asked for your phone number. So is this a new detail you're adding or just something you're making up on the fly? It seemed to me that would be a bigger violation if you said that initially. Oh, this guy came up, he's putting his hands all over me in the library and he wouldn't leave me alone. Okay, no, that sucks. You didn't say that. You said he asked you for your phone number. And now he's assaulting you. Okay.
Said sorry, bro. Never said sorry to me. That's why. And that's off the top of my head. This is why I get upset, because I'm like, I'm here to talk about like how you feel. But when you just dismiss the fact that women actually have experiences.
Nobody dismissed it. Nobody said anything like that. Again, this is the magical freaking hearing aids these people have. Nobody said that. Nobody dismissed that I did, but I'm not on the panel. I think you're lying. I think it's bullshit. But that's me. These guys didn't do that. They didn't say, bullshit. Nobody did you in the library. Or didn't. They didn't say that. But here's the magic hearing. Well, you didn't say that, but this is what I heard. Well, you didn't hear it because it wasn't said. Dear, it's on video. Unless they edited out that part. You think Jubilee would edit the part out where these guys said, we don't believe you're fucking lying? No, they would not edit that out. Go on.
That's when it seems like it's about more than your rights. It seems like it's about your ego. And that's where I get pissed off. Because how dare you tell another human being that their experiences, what they're telling you right in front of your face, is not valid.
Okay. I am going to go back and listen to that again. Did you guys hear it?
More than your rights. It seems like it's about your ego. And that's where I get pissed off. Because how dare you tell another human being that their experiences, what they're telling you right in front of your face, is not valid.
How dare you sit in front of 3 men who are telling you their experiences and you don't think they're valid? How dare you, Aisha? Number one, they didn't say anything like that. Number two, you were doing exactly the same thing. You were saying these men, whatever they're saying is a bunch of bullshit. Men don't need a men's rights activist group. What do they need that for? They're telling you their experiences. No, I don't care about. They're not invalid. They're you're doing the same thing. Dear.
I didn't say they were invalid. I said how and why. I'm trying to understand.
How and why?
Yeah, but she didn't hear that, though, because she's got special ears, Chad. She's got special ears that can hear things you didn't even say. That's the magic power of Aisha.
Because it happened. It happened many times. It happened yesterday. It happened the day before.
Okay, I think some of the things that you guys are touching on, such as the court system and gender roles, are a subject of patriarchy. And
Of course it is. What else could it possibly be? Well, actually, she's right about the court system, but go ahead.
And that's part of what women are trying to dismantle, is those traditional gender roles.
Are there any feminist organizations that have done anything, for example, to challenge bias against men and fathers in the family court system?
Absolutely.
Can you please give me a list of feminist advocacy organizations?
Oh, Kursat's going in hot. Can you tell me which feminist organization has done jack squat with respect to men? Simple question. She's a raging feminist. She ought to know, right?
That have engaged in any meaningful advocacy to address those issues, because there are actually none.
Okay, I know that you came with your little research or whatever. I didn't come with a list of feminist organizations, but I know actively that there are women's organizations that are trying to dismantle those inequalities.
Just one name, just one
Again, I
organization.
didn't come with a list, my dude.
He didn't ask you for a list. He said, give me one. You know all of these organizations that are doing stuff for men that are feminist. Certainly you could think of one. Oops.
There are no such organizations.
One bite, and you'll see why it's been our most craved substance.
Firehouse subs.
The hook
Yes.
ladder. Only at Firehouse subs.
I am getting kind of hungry.
In what ways are men's rights at risk?
I think there has been significant progress over the last decade or so, especially in the legal field. But I think there are still significant disparities that need to be addressed, such as poor health conditions, bias against men in the criminal justice system, bias against men in family courts, and bias against men in the educational system, especially in colleges.
Yeah, but what he just said is anger and illogical thinking. Right, Aisha? He's just an angry man.
Men and women should be allies.
Oh, God.
Men, unfortunately, many of them don't want to even have this open dialogue that we're
Really? Men don't want to have this open dialogue.
sharing right now. We
Okay.
need men to help be allies, to help.
Excuse me, earlier in the video, you said you didn't need help from men. Didn't you? And now you say you need the help of men. Well, which one is it?
Speak to other men.
It strikes me like the way you phrase this, you almost want men to say certain things that you want them to say, as opposed to maybe actually listening to what they're saying.
Well, I mean, the steamy chick there to the right of this woman, everything you say is illogical and angry, Cursat. So it doesn't matter.
But certain
Like
things would I want to
just
hear.
kind of like men being allies, men talking to other men, etc. I'm completely okay with that, but I'm not going to repeat like feminist talking points to other men.
We all believe different things. We may be under the label of men's rights activists, but for example, I'm probably the most traditionalist person here. I think we should be allies, but maybe us being allies in a patriarchy wouldn't be so bad.
Like I said, I think he was a plant.
You know, us going back to the past wouldn't be so bad. It would
Get Terrence Popp in there. He'll talk about it.
We'd probably be a lot happier if we were, you know, getting married and staying married and having kids and, you know, going to church and all that. La-di-da-di-da.
While speaking to the three of you, I feel like there are, you're each coming from different perspectives. So it's hard to, you know.
That's
again,
what Incel
like
Boy
the
just said.
Are,
That's what Incel just said. Exactly. So I'm glad you feel that because he just stated that.
our perspectives. It's hard to generalize.
Ooh.
So to me, I feel like there are certain things that, even though we're not fully agreeing on it, things may get lost in translation, our verbiage may not be 100% correct.
Or you might hear things that people are not saying. Also a possibility.
We could at least agree on.
Can I ask one question? What would you envision would be the ideal man with the end goal of feminism as far as educating men or working to dismantle whatever patriarchy is? Like, what does that man look like?
It starts with childhood. We have to teach children as well as girls, because we're also taught, because
girls too. Okay.
of toxic masculinity, what a man should be as well.
I think that we just need to hold men accountable. In order to kind of make progress, we need help from people that will listen, because let's be real, when we express our concerns, a lot of men refuse to listen, but they would be more likely to listen to another man.
Who is ignoring you? I ignore you when you bring up things that don't exist. I think that's fair. I prefer reality over whatever fantasy world you live in, dear.
Do you also feel like you have an ethical obligation to challenge other women or other feminists when, for example, they deny that men face discrimination?
When it comes to things like, men can't be abused. I've had this conversation with another woman, and it's the idea that just because a man may be physically stronger than us, does that mean they cannot be abused?
Fair point. Thank you.
And because of that, again, fairness, women need to be held accountable as well.
I'm not sure your compatriots actually agree with you, dear.
I want to understand their viewpoint. As a woman and a woman of color, I
of course
know how it feels to be disenfranchised.
Please. Yeah, just 10 years ago, I was still a slave in the cotton fields. Get the fuck out of here.
So I want to understand why they feel the need to have a men's rights movement.
They just explained it to you. You agree with them.
I feel empathy for the other side.
Mm-hmm. So let's hear this one. I'm
I
sure
don't
it'll be
think
good.
there's ever a time in my life where a person says they're hurting and I don't at least try to listen or understand.
Except for these guys here. You just told them. You've been dismissing all of their concerns the whole time. You even said it's unfair for people to hear these things and make them not consider them valid. You said it yourself. This chick's a little bit confused, I believe.
Understand. My only thing is that I want the same in return. So when I'm genuinely saying I'm hurting or I've been through something, and it's not just a personal experience, because I actively do this work and surround myself with women saying I've been hurt by a man before.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but the stories you told were your own personal experience. In other words, an anecdote.
I get that you have stories, but I mean, that's actually my question.
They didn't tell stories. They told facts. They weren't stories.
Haven't heard y'all stories. Like, I've sat up here and said I have 3 on the top of my head. I have about 30 plus probably.
Because stories are anecdotes. Curse that comes with facts. And the one girl had no idea. No facts, just stories and feelings. That's why, sweetheart. You're not hearing stories because they're not interested in telling you their story. They're trying to tell you how that is. The reality of it.
And I haven't heard y'all say, this is what happened to me.
I don't think that I'll ever invalidate a woman's feelings when she says, hey, I've been abused or whatnot. I don't think any of us here are rightfully saying that. But I think what's dangerous is when emotional testimony that may not always be what it is gets, creates bias, right?
Okay, I feel empathy for women being lost, being misguided. Look.
Oh God. Oh God.
I don't know. You can go.
Do you have any bit of empathy for anything we said up here?
Yes, I really do feel empathy for
Why was that so hard to say? Like, for the stuff that we said, do you have any bit of empathy for the stories I said up here?
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Yeah, but I don't believe them. So it's an anecdote, irrelevant in a discussion.
I do.
Like, I'm not even trying to be hostile. I just genuinely want to know.
You're not trying to be hostile. Oh my God. I wonder if she actually watched the video after this was done and said, maybe I was kind of being a bitch. Probably not.
I just think that like a lot of the problems that have happened in your life are because society is not patriarchal. It's not traditional. It's we're gone. We're lost. We're in a fallen state, right?
There is a change of guard, not necessarily a change of guard, but things are evolving, things are changing. And I feel like a lot of men speak from a viewpoint almost of fear. A lot of men are having a hard time grasping that and feeling comfortable with it.
I do feel empathy for your personal experience, but I cannot sympathize with your ideological position because that ideological position is built on a fallacy. And that fallacy is actually costing that's causing very real consequences for men as a class in this country. So I understand that you are here with us as kind of the good feminist, so to speak, that you feel empathy for men. And I believe you, but I do not believe your movement, and I do not believe your ideology.
Easy enough. Kursat has the last word. Now, at the beginning, you're going to hear Incel Boy, he's walking on landmines all over the place. So he wasn't so bad here, but yeah. But the one in the gray dress, I mean, clearly that girl has some anger issues. There's a problem. And of course, she intimated that she works around abused women. Well, of course you would think all women are abused if that's all you ever deal with is women who were abused. Just like when you're a grape crisis center, you're going to think all women are getting attacked like that because you work among women 24/7 who have been attacked like that. So yeah, it's an interesting listen. I'll put it in the chat. Oh, we got some fire going on here in the chat. What do we got here? Waste of time working yourself. Yeah. The change of the guard. Yeah. Now the women's going to be in charge, and you're going to like it. Suck it up. Thumper says. No, it used to be that a married man who would then protect them from the evils of the world. They want to do it alone, but they also want the world to change. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The big daddy government could pay the paycheck or give them free shit. But there's no man with them. Right? It's a pseudo husband, so to speak. Yeah. Incel guy. I can't remember his name. Matt or something. Yeah, he's I don't think he was a real MRA, to be honest with you. There's another Jubilee video with him on there. Ask an incel, and he would be the incel. So, Mr. Pliskin, Fallacies, also known as making 1% outliers to be 99%. Exactly. This one bad thing happened to me she changed her story, man. You're going to get a lot more currency out of some guy was grabbing your boobs or whatever at the library than some guy walks up to you and asks for your number. I mean, geez. Yeah. Yeah, he's not an MRA, no. Shaman King XYZ. Yeah, I bet you've probably seen this. A lot of people have seen this, but we were here. Why not? Ooh, super chats and monetization. Well, I don't know, Alexander. Maybe. YouTube is putting the kibosh on a lot of this stuff. Can't swear anymore, etc. So we'll see. I thought about it. I'd rather, if you want to give money to somebody, find a good charity, for men that they're hard to find, but they're out there, that they'd more than willingly take your money. Black chick started crying. Who started crying? Oh, the one on the gray one. Yeah. He, yeah. I hear you. Yeah. It wasn't the best choice for this particular discussion. Kursats was good. He recorded the entire thing, and it wasn't a lot different, but there were a lot of parts left out. So he has the entire recording. If you look up Kursats Jubilee recording, you can listen to the entire audio. So it's again, they edited out quite a bit. Domestic violence refuges and rape crisis centers are staffed by lesbians. Oh, you're so mean. You're so terrible. Riggs says, I don't give a about McQueen crying. What happened to that manly ass attitude they known for? Yeah. Well, she did get worked up there, and she believes everything these guys says is bullshit, and she dismisses their personal stories or whatever because blah 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 blah. Uncensored on Rumble. Yeah, I should. Yeah. I could think about the shorts one because these do get long. I understand. It's 2 hours usually. What is it? Yeah, it's about 2 hours. So I'm thinking about it. I know Hammerhand is doing shorts. He's doing all kinds of stuff. He's rolling into cash, man. And I'm sure he'll be doing a stream later, right? Let me see. Let me go to the thing. I'm sure he's doing one probably 6:30. Let's see if he's got it up yet. He doesn't. But I'm certain he's going to have one tonight because that's pretty unless he got zapped. No, he posted one like 4 hours ago, so. And it's still up, so that means he probably didn't get a strike. Anyway, that was interesting and fun, you guys. Thank you very much. And I'm going to go get some brewskis and get something to eat. Oh, he's doing one on Pearly tonight. Oh, really? It's Pearly. It's Pearly show, 6:20. Okay, well, there you go, guys. 6:20 Hammerhand. Apparently, is he having Pearly on? Is that what he's doing? Or that might be interesting. Or he's just going to go through her stuff again. 7:20 Eastern. H8 should be a go for this evening. All right. Sounds good. All right, you guys. You have a great day. And I'll probably see you over on Hammerhand's chat. All right. Have a good day. Thanks.